Welcome to this week's Man Enough Podcast Rapid Fire Questions, presented in partnership with P&G, the maker of brands like Tide, Swiffer, Mr. Clean, Pantene, and Braun.
When is the last time you went to therapy?
Probably about 3 months ago.
We're 70 years, 90 years in the future. You're a ghost at your own funeral.
Mm-hmm.
What do you hope is said about you, about how you lived?
She did her best.
Mm.
One time, when I'd been sober for a long time, maybe like 7 or 8 years, I realized I'm doing my best. And I know for a lot of people that probably seems simple, but for so long, I had not been doing my best, and there's nothing worse. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be amazing. I don't need to be the best at anything, ever. I think that's like a crazy-making way to live. Mm. All I need to know at the end of the day is that in my relationships, in my work, that I did my best.
Mm.
Mm. Okay, do you feel enough?
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, I'm like extra. I'm like oozing all over the place. Definitely enough. I'm trying to learn to not feel too much.
And
right?
when did that happen though, Glennon? When did you start feeling enough?
Maybe in sobriety. I mean, I just feel bad for every single person who hasn't had a mental health crisis. I really do. And I mean, I'm serious. I'm actually really serious. You become part of these programs and you learn how to freaking take care of yourself, and you learn what matters and what doesn't. And so that's why people in recovery are the best people, right? So you let go of all of that shit, but you understand that there's no there in ambition, and you're never going to get there. You're never going to grow up. You're going to be stuck with this self forever.
And Glennon, I just want to take this chance for any men who are listening, if you could talk to a man who's listening right now, trying to get from his head to his heart and integrate them both, trying to free himself and become untamed, what would you say to a man who's on a journey to becoming man enough?
Well, I'm not just saying this because I'm on this podcast. I actually do say this quite often. I think it's scary as hell to start, practicing being fully human, especially when you're part of a group of people who might not react well. Right? So it's easy for us to say, yeah, go talk to your bros about this or that, but then we're not there for the fallout of that, which I've heard can be rather rough, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's safe places where we can start to explore this stuff. For me, that has always been books, right? I mean, I think that sitting down with Man Enough, sitting down with For the Love of Men that's how the spark starts to kindle, and what you learn, like what I learned in recovery, and what I learned is that all of these little individual problems you think you have inside are not personal. They're not your problems. They're structural problems. And millions of other people are having those exact personal problems because of the culture we live in. And that makes you braver. So before you start, calling on yourself to go out and practice, sit and learn and figure out that you're not alone. Books are the best. Books are where we learn about other people without annoying other people.
Thank you to our partners at P&G, the makers of brands like Tide, Swiffer, Mr. Clean, Pantene, and Braun, for helping to make the Man Enough podcast possible, and for sponsoring these fun and real moments with our guests.